Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Baseball Podcast. It is a Monday here as we begin our week with some baseball talk. Of course, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. In this first segment, probably going to leak over to the second segment as well a little bit, as we will be going over the games from this weekend. I'll give you some scores and highlight some pitching performances, some home runs. If we got some, I know it's the new rage in this league now, is to make sure your launch angle is up and you are hitting a lot of fly balls. And when you're making hard contact, that ball goes in the air because it's going to probably leave the yard. As obviously last year we saw a record in home runs, and we're probably going to see another record be broken this year as well. No, depends. Arizona did put the humidifier in their ballpark, so. We'll be seeing it, but there's still parks like Yankee Stadium where all you have to do is hit a pop-up and it goes out. But that's just my opinion on the whole pop-up thing. And then the wind's blowing out at Wrigley, kind of the same thing there too. So a lot of parks where you can get a couple cheapy home runs, and some parks where you need to earn it. All right, let's just dive right into it as we're going to get started with we'll start on Friday with the crosstown rivalry in Chicago, Cubs and White Sox. It was the Cubs prevailing 11-2 in a game where, talk about home runs. In this one, there was a bunch, but we'll talk about some pitching performances first, as we had Tyler Chatwood for the Cubs go 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, got that pitch count up. He's already at 92 pitches after 5, so he only went the whole 5 and died, but did get the win, as that's all you need to qualify for a win. Carson Fulmer did not pitch as well, as he only lasted an inning and 2/3, allowed 5 earned runs. Did give up a home run to Contreras, and he actually also hit. That was a grand slam in the first inning. Then he hit another one as well in the second inning. That was Contreras. Chris Bryant hit his 7th as well in that game. All right, we'll move right along. Mets beat the Phillies 3-1 on Friday behind a nice pitching performance from Steven Matz, who in 5 innings allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Did give up a home run, the only run allowed in that game by the Mets pitching. That was to Herrera in the first inning, a solo shot. Jake Arrieta pitched very nicely, but did not get. The Phillies had a 1-0 lead going into the top of the 9th inning, where it all kind of broke down. They were riding that Odubel Herrera solo homer that whole game. Jake Arrieta pitched very nicely for the Phillies, and he went 7 and 1/3 innings pitched, no runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Arrieta. He lowered his ERA down to 2.59, so good looking there. Did not get the win, though, as Neris came in and blew the save. The Mets scored 3. Like I said, they scored 3 in the top of the 9th inning. Michael Conforto hit a 2-run home run, and then Devin Mesoraco in one of his. This is his first appearance with the Mets after coming over in that Matt Harvey trade. And speaking about the Matt Harvey trade, the Reds have not lost a game yet. They got Matt Harvey, and they're 6-0, or 5-0 at least. They've won 6 in a row, so have not lost a game yet since Matt Harvey came over to that team. He's actually pitched for them once. I think he got a no decision. We'll probably go over his game in just a moment, but the Mets take that one 3-1. In New York, a 3-game series between the A's and Yankees started on Friday. The A's took the game and took game 1 10-5, getting home runs from Chris Davis, Matt Chapman, Jed Lowry, and Matt Joyce, all going deep. Gleyber Torres and Aaron Judge went deep for the Yankees in that game as well, but not enough as the A's doubled them up 10-0 in that one. In Baltimore, the Orioles win 9-4 over the Rays. Machado hit 2 home runs in this one. Mark Trumbo and Cisco also went deep. The Blue Jays beat the Red Sox in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 12th inning on a home run by Molly. It was a big home run, his second of the game, actually, the catcher for the Blue Jays. As he went deep. That was Luke Molly who went deep in the bottom. He had a home run in the bottom of the seventh to tie it up after the Blue Jays were trailing, and then he hit another one off of Brian Johnson in the bottom of the 12th inning to win the game for the Blue Jays. Miami beats the Braves 6-3 in Miami. Albies hit his 12th home run. JT Realmuto, 5 home runs already for him. As he did not start the season, he was coming off the DL. Sheldon Castro went deep as well in that one, as the Marlins were able to beat the division-leading Braves. In this one, the Indians were not able to top the Royals. They got beaten 10-9 at home in a back-and-forth affair at Jacobs or at Progressive Field. The Indians are scored 3 in the first inning. Royals came right back to take a 4-3 lead, and the Indians scored 6 in the fourth to take a 9-4 lead before the Royals scored in each of the next 3 innings, 1 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, to take a 10-9 lead. They had home runs from Salvador Perez. The Indians hit Jose Ramirez, Yonder Alonso, and Michael Brantley all went deep. But the Royals were able to squeak ahead of the Indians and get the win there. Texas beating the Astros 1-0 in Houston. Cole Hamels goes 6 shutout innings, allowed 1 hit on 3 walks, 5 strikeouts for Hamels. He gets the win. Verlander, the tough luck loser, wins 6 innings, only allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for the Astros right-hander, but he gets the loss as Hamels was 1 run better than him in this one. The Rangers win this one in 9 in Houston. The Brewers beat the Rockies in Colorado 11-10 in 10 innings. Lots of home runs in this one. The Rockies got home runs from Ineta and Carlos Gonzalez. The Brewers got one from Travis Shaw and Pena. The Brewers actually they scored a run. They got the run in the 10th inning on a Travis Shaw single that broke the 10-10 tie after Manny Pena tied the game in the top of the 9th inning with a 2-run shot off of Wade Davis. That was the acquisition by the Royals to get that, or by the Rockies to get that closer. But Wade Davis blows the save there, and the Brewers end up winning it in the next inning. Washington beats the Nationals beat the Diamondbacks 3-1 in the desert. Trey Turner hit a home run in the first inning to set the tone for the Nationals. Peralta went deep, but then Max Scherzer was the guy that actually took the lead for the Nationals, helping himself out, hit a double that scored a run to make it 2-1, and that was in the fourth. Rendon added a run in the eighth to make it 3-1 in that one. Max Scherzer pitched very nicely, shutting down the vaunted Diamondbacks lineup in 7 innings, only allowing 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts to give up that home run to Peralta, but that was all he allowed in that one, as he was excellent in that game on Friday. A couple more games here, as we want to just get some good pitching performances here really quickly. It was the first start for Matt Harvey. Like I said, he only went 4 innings, though, as he hasn't really gotten back to that whole starting pitching length. Remember, he was in the bullpen for a little bit for the Mets, so the Reds wanted to hold him short a little bit. Went 4 shutout innings, only 1 hit, 2 strikeouts for Harvey, and 4 innings of work, and the bullpen took care of the rest. Max Muncy went deep for the Dodgers. Scooter Gennett went deep for the Reds, as the Reds were able to win this one in LA 6-2. Cardinals beat the Padres 9-5. The Tigers and Mariners game was postponed due to weather issues in Detroit. And looking at other pitching performances, nothing really standing out over the weekend. There was a good pitching performance. Obviously, Jimison Tyone did start for the Pirates on Friday, but he had to come out early in this one due to injury. Only went 3 innings, and the bullpen picked it up as the Pirates were able to beat the Giants 11-2 on Friday. All right, quickly, as I want to do Saturday before the segment ends here, and we'll do Sunday over on the other side. Pirates beat the Giants 6-5 after they took the lead on a bases-loaded hit by a pitch in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees beat the A's 7-6 in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 11th inning a Neil Walker single to score Gary Sanchez, and that won the game for the guys in pinstripes. The Yankees get the win there at home. Cubs beat the White Sox on the north side, 8-4. John Lester gets the win in this one as he pitched pretty well. Went 5 and 2/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts for Lester. The Cubs got home runs from Anthony Rizzo and Contreras, again going deep in this one. So the Cubs getting another win as they continue to truck along. Cubs are now looking a little better in that with that record at 21-15. The Orioles beat up on the Rays 6-3. Chris Archer got the loss. Hess gets the win for the Orioles. And he went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, or 3 strikeouts to give up a home run. In this one, that was to Matt Duffy, his second of the year. The Orioles got 2 home runs from Jonathan Scope, and Manny Machado also hit his 13th of the year in this one. So the Orioles get the win there against the Rays. And then in the game 2 of that doubleheader, they were making up a game from earlier in the season. The Rays got the win in this one, 10-3. After that game, they scored 1 in each of the first 4 innings, and up 4-1. Baltimore scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th to try and get closer, but the Rays were able to close the door, scoring in each of the next 3 innings as well. Scored 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 3 in the 9th. So they definitely shut the door on that one. Home runs for the Orioles was by Trey Mancini, and C.J. Cron and Miller also went deep for the Rays. All right, as we go over to the Nationals and Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks again held to only 1 run. Nationals win this one in another tight game, 2-1. Steven Strasburg pitched very nicely for the team from the nation's capital. Went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts for Strasburg in this one, as the Diamondbacks were not able to scratch more than 1 run off of him. The Nationals getting their second run to break the tie in the 4th inning, and that was all it took. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays again 5-2 after David Price coming back from that carpal tunnel issue and pitched pretty well in 6 innings. Or make that 5 1/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts to give up a home run in this one to Justin Smoke. But that was all the Blue Jays put up. Hanley Ramirez hit a 2-run homer as well, his 6th of the year. Tigers beat the Mariners in Detroit 4-3 in Game 1 of that doubleheader. Mariners came back and won the second game 9-5 behind Felix Hernandez. Got some run support in this one, Hernandez did. And he went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs on 8 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts to give up a home run in this one to Hicks. But the Mariners bats were able to back him up. Ryan Healy hit his 7th, and Robinson Cano hit his 4th, a 3-run shot for Cano, and that was a bunch of runs good for the Mariners as they were able to help out their ace get his 5th win of the season. Indians beat the Royals 6-2. Lindor hit 2 home runs in this one for Cleveland. Francisco Lindor, his 11th and 12th of the year for the Tribe as they beat the Royals behind a nice pitching performance from Steve Clevenger, going 7 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 8 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. He's 3-0 in the season with a 2.7 ERA. Gotta like that if you're an Indians fan. Braves come back and beat the Marlins after dropping the game on Friday. They beat them 10-5. The Astros beat the Rangers after dropping their first game, and 6-1. That was a Charlie Morton start. He's now 5-0 in the season, pitching very nicely. He went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, 14 strikeouts, and this one did give up a home run to Guzman, but it didn't matter as that was the only run he gave up and the only run the Rangers were able to score in that one. Brian McCann and Evan Gattis and also Carlos Correa went deep in this one for the Astros. All right, Rockies shut out the Brewers behind Kyle Freeland, and 4-0 was the final in this one. In Colorado, Freeland went 6 1/3 innings of shutout baseball at 4 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and the bullpen was able to finish that one off for the Rockies. Padres beat the Cardinals 2-1 in 13 innings, a walk-off for the Padres, as Eric Hosmer was able to get a double in the bottom of that 13th inning to knock in the second run of the game and win it for San Diego. Twins beat the Angels 5-3, Reds beat the Dodgers 5-3, and the Mets and Phillies game was postponed due to weather on Saturday. All right, we'll come back really quick after the break, and we'll do Sunday, and then we'll get into some talk on the Nationals and how they just came off a 4-game sweep of the Diamondbacks, first-place Diamondbacks, get their season back on track, and we'll give some talk on the NL East as a whole as well. Third segment, we'll probably do the NL West and the Angels, and then fourth segment, as we usually do, we'll preview the games coming up this week. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back. GSMC Baseball Podcast. Just going to quickly go over the games from Sunday as we complete our weekend recap. First game I was bringing up is the Giants and Pirates, as the Giants were able to salvage a game in this series in Pittsburgh, 5-0. This was, remember, Andrew McCutcheon's homecoming back to Pittsburgh got about, I think, on both games on Friday and Saturday, got about a minute standing ovation before his first at bat. Even on even on Sunday, which was Mother's Day, got a pretty big ovation as well. As there's lots of people with signs and saying "Welcome home, Cutch." It was pretty cool seeing that, being out here in the West Coast, being able to see that on TV. All right, but the Pirates were able to. The Pirates did not get this one, as they were not able to complete the sweep of the Giants. Giants get it 5-0. Home runs by Nick Hundley and Gorkis Hernandez. A nice pitching performance from Derek Holland. Actually, went 6 1/3 innings, allowed no runs on 4 hits, 5 walks though, and 7 strikeouts. It was the walks that were the killer for Holland. Did get the win though, as he pitched plenty distance and plenty enough innings on 104 pitches, which is why he probably came out. Bullpen was superb for the Giants, as well as they kept the shutout for Holland and won that one 5-0. Yankees won the rubber match against the A's, taking the series. This was a 6-2 win behind Luis Severino, getting a 6th win of the year. He pitched very nicely for the A's. For the Yanks, went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for the Yankees. And Severino, Stanton hitting his 10th home run for the Yankees. A's got a home run from Mark Hanna, his 6th on the year. But it was not enough, as the Yankees took the series. Orioles beat up on the Rays badly, 17-1. In this one, Dylan Bundy came back and pitched very nicely after not getting out of the first inning his last start. Went 7 shutout innings, allowed 2 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts for the young right-hander to get his ERA back down. The Rays, not so much. Blake Snell did not pitch very well, gave up 3 home runs in this one. Danny Valencia went deep. Rickard went deep twice once off Snell, once off Kittredge, and then Trey Mancini also went deep off of Snell. The Baltimore just tacking on the runs. Valencia had 4 RBIs. Rickard, the young right fielder for the Orioles, Joey Rickard, had 5 RBIs in this one, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored as well. And Valencia also had 3 runs scored. Machado was 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. You got to have a lot of guys with some big stats in this one. Obviously, that's how you put up 17 runs. They scored 7 in the 4th inning and 6 in the 7th inning. So you got to like that if you're an Orioles fan and you like offense. Complete win there for Baltimore, 17-1. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-3 in this one, behind a nice bullpen performance, as well as a nice start from Velasquez, as he's now 5-0 on the season Drew Pomerantz started for the Red Sox, went 4 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, but it was the long man, the bullpen, who went 2 innings. Hector Velasquez got his 5th win of the year already, as he went 2 scoreless innings, allowed 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. So like that, the bullpen guy has 5 runs. Joe Kelly got the save in this one. Braves beat the Marlins 4-3. Sean Newcomb got his 4th win of the year. The young left-hander went 6 innings of shutout baseball, allowed 1 hit on 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and the bullpen was able to hold for the Braves. Home runs by Justin Bour for the Marlins, and Ender Inciarte went deep for the Braves. Indians beat up on the Royals 11-2 in this one. Corey Kluber got a 6th win of the year, pitched very nicely on a Sunday, as he went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, none earned, 8 hits, and no walks, 4 strikeouts for Kluber, as only those 2 unearned runs. For the Indians, Jose Ramirez went deep, Yan Gomes and Michael Brantley also went deep, as they got the win there on by about 9 runs. After they scored 5 runs in the second inning was pretty much enough for the Indians in this one. Tigers got the walk-off win against the Mariners in this one, 5-4. It was like I said, walk-off win in the bottom of the 9th inning for Detroit, and they were able to salvage the series there against the Mariners. They had to play a doubleheader on Saturday before coming back for that one, and a 5-4 win. Like I said, it was a walk-off for Detroit. The next one up, I want to see how did they get the walk-off there. In Detroit, it was a Jose Iglesias single that knocked in the winning run. Phillies beat the Mets 4-2 behind Aaron Nola's start. Remember, Aaron Nola is pretty much their ace now, and a young ace, but he is their ace for the Phillies, as he went 6 innings, allowed 1 run, scattering 9 hits, allowed 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, to give up a home run to Yoenis Cespedes in the 6th inning. But that was pretty much all the Mets were able to muster, as the Phillies scored 3 runs in the bottom half of that 6th inning to take the lead again, getting Nick Williams hit a 3-run homer, and then Carlos Santana added some insurance, hitting a home run in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Phillies. Astros beat the Rangers 6-1. Dallas Keuchel pitched very nicely there in Houston, as the battle for Texas goes to the Astros. This time, Keuchel wins 7 shutout innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts for the Houston left-hander. The bullpen held serve there as well. Evan Gattis hit his 3rd, Correa his 7th for the Astros. Perez, his 1st home run of the year. That was off Rondon, the only run the Rangers were able to muster in that game. White Sox came back to salvage the series against the Cubs, winning that one 5-3. Lucas Giolito beating Kyle Hendricks. In this one, Giolito went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 3 runs on 2 hits, 7 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's how you give up 3 runs on 2 hits. You walk 7 guys. But lucky it wasn't more than that. Walks are killer, but he's able to get out of some tough jams. The bullpen was able to hold, and the Cubs were not able to come back in this one after Hendricks gave up 3 runs, or 4 runs himself. 3 were earned, 6 strikeouts, 1 homer given up by Hendricks in 6 innings of work. The homer was by Davidson, and this one his 11th. All right, a couple more games to get to here, as we had the Ohtani sighting in L.A. Angels and Twins. Didn't get the win, because the Angels had to go to a walk-off in this one to get the win. But Ohtani was the starter, went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts for the Japanese star, as he is starting to creep back into the conversation here after a couple down weeks. Now coming back, had 2 nice pitching performances, and he's also been hitting as well. So gotta like that. Did not get the win though, because of the fact that the Twins were able to come back and tie in the top of the 7th off the bullpen, but the win was secured by a Zach Cozart single in the bottom of the 9th inning. Reds complete the sweep of the Dodgers in L.A. 5-3, the win behind Luis Castillo. Rich Hill loss for the Dodgers. Castillo went 6 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, 3 total on 4 hits, 8 strikeouts to give up a couple home runs, but it didn't matter. Puig and Grandal went deep for the Dodgers, And for the Reds, it was Eugenio Suarez and Joey Votto going deep. And that was enough to get the Reds on top and stay on top. 5-3 win for the Reds. Another 5-3 win. This was the Padres over the Cardinals. Clayton Richard gets his second win of the year. Nationals beat the Diamondbacks 6-4 late in that game, as the Diamondbacks did come back and tie it up 4-4 in the bottom of the seventh inning. But an eighth inning rally for the Nationals. They scored 2 runs on a Mark Reynolds 2-run homer, and the top of that eighth inning got the win for the Nationals. And a good way to end that one. In that little scoring review there, the Nationals are the team I want to kind of talk about here, as they've obviously gotten on a bit of a roll. They win 4 in a tough ballpark to win 4 in. Obviously, they go into Arizona and win a 4-game series there against the Diamondbacks. A very good team, obviously, a team that's still in first place, as the Diamondbacks now have lost 5 in a row. But that's exactly what the Nationals need. If you're a Nationals fan, you're like, we got to go in here, we got to win 4. The Mets have kind of tumbled a little bit. They've lost 8 of the last 10. Nationals have won 8 of the last 10. The Phillies and the Braves also, they're pretty much holding serve as well. Phillies are 7-3 in the last 10. Atlanta is 6-4. So nobody is really faltering there at the top. Mets are faltering a bit, but the Nationals have leapfrogged the Mets. They get into third place. They're a game and a half back of the Braves. So you got to like that. Looking as we come into the midpoint here in May, that is. Now we're to that 40 game point in the season here. As now we're gonna get, that's the kind of, like I said, 40 games. We're about a quarter of the way through the season, as we're gonna start doing some litmus tests, some rankings. I mean, there are power rankings that come out every week, obviously, from the various sources, MLB.com or Bleacher Report, wherever you get your news. They're going to have their MLB power rankings. Right now, it looks like the Yankees are definitely up on top of that, with the Red Sox both tied at 28-12. That's for the best record in Major League Baseball. Obviously, the Diamondbacks, they have the best record in the National League. Or unless you want to give that to the Diamondback or to the Braves, who have the same amount of wins but just one less loss. Milwaukee also has 24 wins on the season as well. So all the division leaders have 24 wins on the year. Still in that Central, the AL Central is still sitting there. Cleveland at 20-19 in first place. NL Central or AL Central versus the NL is all pretty even, with some definitely the NL Central's got a logjam at top. So does the NL East, and even the Diamondbacks are kind of seeing some people on their heels. Giants only 4.5 back, and the Rockies are only 2.5 back there. So lots of baseball obviously to play, as we are now at that 40 game mark. Some teams are over 40 games, but I mean, since we were last on the air here, we were at that 40 game mark now, and we can really do some analyzation. Obviously, you got to like the fact that the Nationals have crept their way back up into the conversation within the last week, obviously. But now that 40 game mark, you kind of get a feel. So, does that mean now, like I said, we're 40 games in? Does that mean that we kind of can write off the Dodgers? I mean, obviously they've had the injury issues. Still haven't gotten Justin Turner back, but Clayton Kershaw goes on the DL. They have Puig go on the DL for a bit. He's back now, but I mean, still, Corey Seager's done for the year. They have lost their last 4, and now we're all at home, and they were all to the Reds. So I don't know if that's a little bit of blood in the water you see here. They're 16-24, so that's exactly 40 games into the season. And you can say what you will about the Dodgers. They got a lot of baseball they could play, but it has not been a good showing to start off the year here for the defending National League champions. We'll see if they can right the ship throughout the rest of the season. For those who are looking at the Giants, who are the team ahead of them, you wanted them to be, as a Giants fan myself, I'm going to be as objective as possible here, obviously, but we wanted them to be around 500 by the time Bumgarner came back. Bumgarner is probably about 2-3 weeks away from coming back, and they're one game under 500. They have a home series coming up against the Reds starting today through Wednesday. Obviously, the Reds can't just be like, automatic win. They just came off of a 4-game sweep on the road of the Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't very good either, and the Reds got a quarter of their win total, or 40% of their win total, just in that weekend series in LA. After they came in with 10 wins, left with 14 wins. Dodgers only 2 games better than that. Giants a little bit more, but Got to play the games. Got to play the games. But if you're the Nationals, you got to like where you are. That 40, you were kind of worried. Now you get to that 40-game plateau, and you're going to be like, okay, well, all right, Harper's hitting the bombs. You're getting some production on that Trey Turner. Max Scherzer still pitching the absolute crud out of the ball. I mean, he's just that guy is just ridiculous. The way he repeats that motion, even with a glove over the head and everything, that pitching motion, and he comes down and really stretches his arm way out, gets such a good far release point, really cuts down that distance between the mound and the plate, getting way out there, and has such good movement on his pitches. So that's why he's so hard to hit. But he can't really throw the ball straight to save anyways, because he has a high kind of three-quarter release, that devastating slider, and that nasty two-seamer that'll come right back in on a right-hander running away from the left-hander. So he's on. Gio Gonzalez has been pitching pretty well. And so is Strasburg. Strasburg kind of just found a little home there in that second starter position. Hasn't really had to worry about being the ace of that staff. All right, we'll come back in the third segment. Probably talk a little bit more about the Nationals. Go over the whole league. Now that we're 40 games in. Talk about the Angels and Ohtani. And then in that fourth segment, we're going to do a preview for the week. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Well, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast, as we're going to talk about a few teams in this third segment. I know I talk about the Nationals and the fact that they're finally getting some production from people other than Bryce Harper. It looks like it's going to be Trey Turner coming out to be the other guy for the Nationals in that lineup. It's obviously the beginning good pitching from the top of the rotation, especially, but they weren't able to really get the hitting portion of it down. That's why they were not able to really jump out into the win column as much as they are now, at least, sitting at they're at 24-18 now, 6 games over 500. Gotta like that if you are a Nationals fan, as you were kind of hovering around 500 or maybe even just 4 games under 500 as well. So I mean, you got to figure that out. The Nationals seem like they figured it out. Obviously, the long season to go, but you'll like that now that we've reached that 40-game plateau, like I said. And they've gotten to kind of where they want to be. Obviously not in first place right now because of the 2 tough teams in front of them. It's going to come down probably to a lot of head-to-head matchups with the Phillies and with the Braves. Right now it looks like that the Braves are going to go and start a series in Chicago. That might be a chance for the Nationals to get a game. Nationals aren't going to play today. A Braves loss means you pick up a game. Obviously, it's still a little early to talk about. It's a little early to talk about just how many games back and losses and wins, jockeying for position. But, I mean, looking at the standings, it's a good way to kind of look at each team. It tells you a lot of information. Win streaks, how many wins they've had, the last 10 record, where it looks. The Nationals are going to be starting a series in New York, actually playing the Yankees. Actually, it's going to be at home. They're going to play a series in D.C., against the Yankees. They're going to be hosting the Yankees for 3 starting tomorrow. So I'll go over that game in the next segment. But I just wanted to touch on the fact that, if you're a Nationals fan, you're heading in the right direction. Obviously, you're getting some good production out of your whole lineup now, is obviously coming off of a nice little sweep of a tough Diamondbacks team, a tough Diamondbacks team. You got to like playing in that park, though. Bryce Harper making that park look really small. I advise you to go look at the highlight of the home run he's hit yesterday. I mean, that was one of the deepest home runs I've seen, even at a park that gives up a lot of deep home runs. He hit that over almost to the top of the bleachers in right field at Chase Field there in Phoenix. So Bryce Harper, 13 home runs in the year. Trey Turner got his 5th, and actually Mark Reynolds hitting 2 home runs in this game yesterday. This was his first start and first appearance for the Nationals. He went deep twice in this one, off of Godley in the 6th inning, and then obviously off of Archie Bradley in the 8th to break that tie. But, I mean, what a little shot in the arm right there. If you think it, obviously Mark Reynolds is definitely a guy where you're going to be, okay, home run or strikeout. You could look at what else he did on the game. He was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, or 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. I mean, so you can't knock that, obviously. If you're a Nationals fan, you have like, why wasn't he on the team from the beginning? Like, where did he come from? Why is he just on the team now? All right, well, you never know. He needed a little time in the beginning of the year to get his swing figured out. All right, as far as the shifting over the leagues, as far as the National League or the American League West, the Angels continue to win. I mean, they're 6-4 in the last 10. Just came off a win of the behind Ohtani, but I mean, did take a walk-off win to get that one, as they weren't really able to put up any runs in support of their Japanese star. So had to go to extras. Obviously, the bullpen was able to hold serve and then allow that walk-off win in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ohtani did pretty well, though. He had 11 strikeouts, kept the Angels in that game. Obviously, the only run he was I don't think he even gave up. He didn't give up any runs. His only run that was scored was off of Bedrosian. Mauer knocked in a run to tie that game in the 7th, right after Ohtani came out. So, I mean, Mike was like, could have. Well, it doesn't matter. They won in 9 innings anyways. But the Angels, that's all they got to do. I think if you're an Angels fan, you got to be happy. You're 40, like I said, 40 games in. This is when we're going to look at everything. You're 1 game back of the defending World Series champions, the Astros. Only 1 game behind them. It's actually tied in the win column, in the loss column. So gotta like that a lot if you're an Angels fan. Sitting at still 24-16 after that hot start of the season. Astros also hitting their stride as well. So for Angels, you're getting production. You're getting Ohtani got that blister over. Obviously, you still have Mike Trout, who is having probably the best start to the season he's ever had. And I mean, that's talking for a guy who only puts up good numbers, it seems like, in his career. And I mean, when you're playing in a division with Houston, it's tough. But like I've given the Angels crap a bunch of times on the show. Being like, okay, you got the best player in the league. What are you going to do with him? You've had him for 6 years at least now. You still have barely made it out of the. I mean, if you make the playoffs, you get knocked out in the first round. I mean, that happened. I think Trout's been in the playoffs 1 time, right? And they were knocked out in the first round, and they have not made the playoffs really other than that. So maybe this is the year where, if anything, they can squeak out a wild card win and get into the wild card game. But it's still going to be tough, obviously. Right now, it looks like that number 1 wild card is going to either be the Yankees or the Red Sox, even though we're only 40 games in the season. I can just tell you right now, whoever doesn't win the NL West, whoever comes in second place in the AL East will likely be that first wild card, and the Angels are going to have to go play the Red Sox again, seemingly the team that knocks them out every year. They make the playoffs, and it'll be in a 1-game sudden death playoff, and you're going to have Chris Sale coming at you against Garrett Richard, and hopefully he's not walking on much people, and hopefully he's got a slider working, and you can get a Mike Trout home run. I mean, that's the thing about 1-game playoff. You never know what you can do. And it's going to be up to that pitching, definitely that starting pitcher. But we're, like I said, long way off from that. 40 games into the season. If you're an Angels fan, you got to be happy with the fact that you're only 1 game back of the Astros, and you could definitely have a chance to leapfrog them and not have to worry about going to that 1-game playoff. Even though I just tell you, over the course of the season, I think the Astros are going to be able to pull away in first place because of the pitching is just that much better. They have Verlander, McCullers, and Keuchel versus the Angels have I mean, the Angels have Ohtani, which is nice, and Garrett Richards can, if he could really get into the consistency he wants, then they might be okay. But the rest of their rotation is just too volatile. Tyler Skaggs is not consistent enough. I mean, neither is Andrew Heaney, the young left-hander. So they still have to figure some things out when it comes to rotation. But Houston definitely have been able to figure themselves out. I mean, right now I think their fourth starter is McCullers. I mean, McCullers is their fourth starter. And then Charlie Morton, or actually McCullers might be their fifth starter, and he's pretty darn good. I mean, when you got Charlie Morton, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Dallas Keuchel, and then McCullers. It's a pretty good 1 through 5 right there, and it's tough to go on losing streaks when you have that many good pitchers. So, I mean, it depends if they can keep the bats going. That's the one thing. Astros have had a little bit of an issue with the old bats. I mean, they're only 2 games over 500 at home. I mean, that ballpark can be pretty volatile when it comes to giving up home runs as well. So, if you play the Angels, I think it's going to come down to their head-to-head games with Houston. I mean, looking at their schedule for the Angels, I mean, they played Houston a good amount. It's because you usually play your home team. You usually play your division rivals a couple times during the season. A couple times during the beginning of the season at least. I mean, just looking at their schedule overall, they play the Astros in LA coming up this week, actually. Look at that. Boom. Right when I say something, the Astros and Angels are playing in LA starting today. So it's going to be a big series for them. If the Angels can get a series win, they'll find themselves in first place. Yep. All right, quickly, by the end, have a few more minutes in this segment. Want to get into some other stuff. I know the Dodgers have, 40 games in. Is this how it's going to be? That's your litmus test. Dodgers 40 games in, 16-24. Can you turn it around? Yes. Will they turn it around? I don't know. Doesn't look good because they having some injury issues. Haven't been able to hit the ball as well. When they hit, they don't pitch. When they pitch, they don't hit. I mean, it's kind of how it works when you go only winning 3 out of your last 7 and getting swept by one of the worst teams in the league, record-wise at least. You're going to find yourself being one of those teams pretty quickly as well. Dodgers definitely got to figure themselves out. Only 8-13 at home, 8-11 on the road. I mean, talk about consistency, but 40 games in, this might be a telltale sign now that we can kind of extrapolate this on further. The fact that this winning percentage might stay the same and just kind of carry them through the season, and a little bit of a lost season for the Dodgers. Looking at other teams that we might have thought were pretenders are not pretenders. That's looking at like I've talked about them a lot in this show last few weeks. Braves and the Phillies, both in the AL East or the NL East, leading that division. Braves 1 game up on the Phillies right as of now. The Phillies have won 7 of the last 10. Braves have won 6 of the last 10, so not to be only 1 game less, but I mean still. The Phillies hoping that they could flip-flop and get into first place, as they are going to be starting a series in Baltimore and that's Baltimore tomorrow, versus the Braves will be playing today in Chicago. So if the Braves lose, like I said, they could pick up a game quickly. Or half game, that is. Half game. But still too early to talk about that. Looks like they're going to keep that going. Obviously, 40 games in, you're still 24-15, 9 games over. Phillies are 23-16, 7 games over. They probably looking like they're not going to be going away. You can sustain that kind of record for 40 games. You probably can go another 40, and then now you're halfway through the season, and then you can go another 40 and another 40. So you kind of break it up by segments. So 40 game segments. Not bad to look at like that. And also, Milwaukee, I thought Milwaukee was going to be good this year. That was my team to kind of either win that Central Division or get into the wild card talk. I mean, if you look at the NL Central as a whole, it is an absolute dogfight. I mean, even 48 games in the season, nobody is really... there's no front runner. The 4th place team are the Cubs, and they're a game back right now. So, I mean, that's going to be a dogfight the whole season. Same kind of thing in the AL West. I talked about them. Seattle's only 2.5 games back. And then in the Central, Central's kind of the toilet division right now because of the fact that the Cleveland is one game over 500, and they are in first place by a game and a half over the Twins, who are 2 games under. Detroit's 3 out, and they're 5 games under right now. So, we might see. I don't think we'll probably see the Indians pull away with that series quickly, as they're going to get into some. They're going to have some games against division rivals. They just finished off a series with the Royals. Now they're going to play the Tigers 4-3 as well. So we'll be going over those games in just a moment here as we get into the fourth segment. But this is a little litmus test looking at the series, looking at the divisions and the standings as we are 40 games in. We'll kind of give you like, okay, hey, maybe these teams are going to keep it going. Obviously, this Red Sox-Yankees battle throughout the whole season is going to be absolutely great TV, great watching. I mean, it's great for baseball that now both these teams are good. I mean, having identical records 40 games in is pretty nice. Pretty nice. 28-12 for the Red Sox and the Yankees as they're going to battle it out the whole rest of the season. The Red Sox will be at home against the A's today. And like I said, the Yankees will be going to our nation's capital to play an interleague series against the Nationals starting tomorrow. So let's actually call it a wrap for this segment. We'll come back in just a moment with the preview for the next couple days, Monday and Tuesday, as we'll go over the pitching matchups and highlight some key hitters to watch as well. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of the day today here on a Monday as we get our week started with the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thanks for listening as we're going to be here on Wednesday and Friday as we are every week here at the GSMC Podcast Network. Baseball is Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as I'll give you the games now for Monday and Tuesday as we're going to start in San Francisco. It'll be Chris Stratton for the Giants against Sal Romano for the Reds, as the Reds, coming off that 4-game sweep of the Dodgers and LA, will head up the coast to AT&T Park. Giants coming off a road trip where they went 4-6, a 3-team trip through Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. So they'll be happy to be home for a 7-game homestand at AT&T, and they'll start it off with a series against the Reds. Braves and Cubs going at Wrigley Field starting today. It'll be Julio Teheran against Jose Quintana. Both guys pitching pretty well. Teheran now is 3-1 with a 3.14 ERA, 42 strikeouts. Has barely been more dedicated on his slider and locating his fastball, as he's lost a little bit of velo with that fastball. Obviously, when you lose some velocity, you got to work on location, and kind of keeping people off balance, and that's what Teheran's able to do. Quintana now 4-2 with a 4.42 ERA, 32 strikeouts. Has been 2-0 at home in 3 starts. Rays and Royals in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. It'll be a pair of lefties going tonight. Ryan Yarbrough against Eric Skoglund for the Royals. Both guys, need to get the ERAs down a little bit. Yarbrough is 2-2 with a 4.30 ERA, 27 strikeouts. Skoglund 1-2 with a 6.34 ERA, 28 strikeouts. And he will face the Rays for the first time in his career as Skoglund, that is. He went 6 1/3 innings last time and allowed 3 runs. And that's how it's going to look for the Royals in this one. Carlos Carrasco against Mike Fiers in the Indians and Tigers little AL Central Division matchup in Detroit at Comerica Park. Carrasco is 5-1, looking for a 6th win on the year. He's with a 3.61 ERA, 53 strikeouts. He's coming off that complete game his last start. That was in his 5th win in Milwaukee, as Mike Fiers now 3-2 with a 4.73 ERA, 21 strikeouts, as he'll make his first start at Comerica actually since the late April. Oakland will be going to Boston. A's and Red Sox in Fenway Park. Sean Manaea against Rick Porcello. Manaea 4-4 with a 2.11 ERA, 45 strikeouts, that is. As he only gave up 5 runs across 6 starts in April. Obviously had that no-hitter in there. Did give up 4 runs in his last 2 starts, as he went 5 2/3 innings against the Astros and struck out 3 and gave up 4 on 7 hits. So he'll have to have his A stuff going tonight, as he'll face off against a guy who has not lost a game yet, has not been saddled with a loss. He's 5-0 with a 2.79 ERA, 49 strikeouts for Porcello, as the Red Sox will be coming back home after that road trip, and Porcello looking to continue to pitch well. Out in Minnesota, it'll be Wade LeBlanc, a left-hander, against Jake Odorizzi. LeBlanc still looking for his first decision on the year, as he's 0-0 with a 3.18 ERA, 18 strikeouts against Odorizzi. 3-2 with a 3.83 ERA, 38 strikeouts for the Twins. Right-hander in Arizona, it'll be the Brewers and the Diamondbacks coming off of that 4-game sweep from the Nationals, will be coming in and now hosting another good team, as Milwaukee is a very similar record to the Diamondbacks. Junior Guerra will be pitching for the Brew Crew against Patrick Corbin. Corbin's 4-0 with a 2.12 ERA, 67 strikeouts, as Guerra is 2-3 with a 2.09 ERA, 34 strikeouts for him on the season. In Los Angeles, I highlighted this whole series a little bit ago. It'll be Lance McCullers Jr. against Andrew Heaney, Astros and Angels in Anaheim. McCullers is 5-1 with a 3.72 ERA, 52 strikeouts, as he'll make his 9th start on the season there in Anaheim. The Astros are 5-3 when he does start. Heaney 1-2 with a 4.78 ERA, 29 strikeouts, as he's looking to get back in the win column, as he has been pitching well in his last 3 starts. And the final game on a shortened schedule on Monday will be Tyler Anderson against Joey Lucchesi, Rockies and Padres. Anderson for the Rockies, Lucchesi for the Padres, a pair of lefties going at it. Anderson's 2-1 with a 4.23 ERA with 40 strikeouts. Lucchesi 3-2 with a 2.98 ERA, 46 strikeouts for him and for the Padres, as he's pitching pretty well in his first season. Over to Tuesday, now we got back to a full slate on a Tuesday. Reds and Giants in LA. It'll be Ty Block hosting against Tyler Mahle for the Reds. Mahle's 3-4 with the 3.86 ERA, 44 strikeouts. Pitched very nicely against the Dodgers, as he just allowed 1 unearned run in 5 innings of work, as the rookie right-hander has allowed 3 runs or fewer in his last 5 starts. Ty Block 3-4 with a 4.20 ERA, 25 strikeouts. Both guys looking for their 4th win on the year, as the Giants have been relying on Block since Cueto and Bumgarner have been out. He's been their most effective starter. All right, over to San Diego, it'll be the Rockies and the Padres playing again. It'll be Jermaine Marquez against Jordan Lyles. Lyles 0-1 with a 3.28 ERA, 22 strikeouts against Marquez, who's 2-4 with a 5.35 ERA, looking to get that down with 38 strikeouts. It'll be the White Sox and the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Interleague series going here. Ronaldo Lopez against Trevor Williams. Lopez looking for his first win of the year with, a pretty decent ERA as well as 2.44 with 31 strikeouts. Williams looking for his 5th win on the year, 4-2, 3.13 ERA, 28 Ks for the Pirates right-hander. I highlighted this series a little bit ago. It'll be the Yankees and the Nationals in Washington, D.C. Masahiro Tanaka been pretty up and down this season, but when he pitches well, he pitches really well for the Yankees, as he'll be going against Gio Gonzalez, the left-hander for the Nationals. Both guys are 4-2, looking for their 5th wins, and Gonzalez has 50 strikeouts to Tanaka's 45 strikeouts. So we're seeing high strikeout numbers all over the league this year because of the fact that everybody's swinging for the fences, trying to get that high launch angle. That's kind of what the analytics have been telling you. Less base runners, more home runs, more strikeouts. Nick Pivetta will be going for the Phillies against the Orioles and Andrew Cashner. Cashner is 1-4 with a 4.84 ERA, 40 strikeouts against Pivetta, 2-2 with a 4.15 ERA, 42 strikeouts for the young Phillies right-hander. Josh Tomlin looking for his first win of the year still for the Indians, as he is 0-4 with a 8.06 ERA. He'll be pitching against the Tigers in Comerica Park. Francisco Liriano, the left-hander, going for the Tigers. He's 3-1 with a 3.35 ERA, 29 strikeouts for him. In the Miami, it'll be the Dodgers and the Marlins, a pair of left-handers going in this one, as they will start a series down there in South Beach. Alex Wood against Wei-Yin Chen. Both guys, Chen's got one win, Wood's got none. So, I mean, Wood's 0-3, Chen's 1-2. Chen's ERA, though, needs to get better, as he's still at about a double-digit ERA with 6 strikeouts. Wood 3.60 ERA with 42 strikeouts. He's kind of been tough luck loser a couple different times this year for the Dodgers. In Boston, it'll be the A's going again against the Red Sox. Daniel Medgen against Eduardo Rodriguez, who's pitched very nicely for the Red Sox. 3-0 with a 4.58 ERA. Wants to get the ERA down, but is coming off one of his best starts of the year. 47 strikeouts for him. Megden is 2-4 with a 4.06 ERA, 33 strikeouts for the A's right-hander. All right, in New York, it'll be another interleague series. Blue Jays and Mets. We have a couple going on this week. A bunch of interleague series, I think. I think it's like 4 different ones. We'll go over those. Jaime Garcia against Noah Syndergaard. In this one, it'll be Garcia's got a 2-2 record with a 5.40 ERA, 35 strikeouts coming into this game. Syndergaard 2-1 with a 3.09 ERA, 54 strikeouts, looking to pull the Mets back up where they were earlier in the season, as now they've gotten close to that 500 mark at 19-18. Cubs and Braves starting a series. Well, they'll be playing in Atlanta, as it'll be Yu Darvish against Mike Fultonevich in this one, as they'll get a series going there. Darvish still looking for his first win of the year, 0-3 with a even 6 ERA, 37 strikeouts against Fultonevich, is 3-2 with a 3.21 ERA, 47 strikeouts for the Braves right-hander. In Minnesota, another interleague series, Cardinals and Twins. Jake Flaherty going for the Cardinals, as he is coming up from AAA Memphis. Did have one start already in the year, did get a loss, but he was struck out. That was his last start in Memphis, but he did strike out 13 guys. Has had a start here in the majors. He's 0-1 with a 3.60 ERA, 11 strikeouts for the Cardinals. Jose Barrios going for the Twins, their young right-hander. 3-4 with a 4.50 ERA, 40 strikeouts, as he did struggle with his off-speed command, especially that curveball his last time. Rays and Royals will be going at it in Kansas City. Rays have not announced the starter yet, but that lineup will be going against Ian Kennedy for the Royals. He's 1-4 with a 4.61 ERA. And then in Arizona, it'll be Brewers and Diamondbacks. Ulysses Chassin against Zach Greinke. A couple right-handers going. Both guys looking for their fourth win. Chacin's 3-1 with a 4.0 ERA, 29 strikeouts, versus Zach Greinke is 3-2 with a 3.70 ERA, 53 strikeouts there for Greinke. In Los Angeles, it'll be the Astros and the Angels going again. Garrett Cole against Jaime Barria, who's actually been a nice insert into that rotation for the Angels. Barria 3-1 with a 2.45 ERA and 13 strikeouts, as he'll make his 5th start on the season. Cole pitching very nicely in his first season with the Astros. 4-1 with a 1.43 ERA, 86 strikeouts already for Cole, as he has just been a machine there for the Astros. Already almost. If he has another performance like he's had in the past, he can get up to triple digits already 40 games into the season. And then the final game on Tuesday, it'll be Rangers and Mariners in Seattle. Mike Minor against Mike Leake for the Mariners. Minor for the Rangers, 3-2 with a 4.73 ERA, 32 strikeouts against Leake, who's 4-3 with a 5.72 ERA, 32 strikeouts as well. All right. Bunch of games. Good series going on. So like I said, we have, I think, 4 interleague series. It'll be the Yankees and the Nationals are playing. We got White Sox and Pirates, Twins and Cardinals going at it again. And also, there's one more. Toronto and the Mets are playing as well. So a bunch of interleague series going on. Some good divisional series going on. We got a couple cross-country series. Dodgers and Marlins. We got Yankees Nationals. That'll be a good one this week too. as a bunch of good stuff going on around Major League Baseball. Also, Cubs and Braves, got to look at that one closely as well. Some implications there. And obviously, Astros and Angels, that'll be a big one to look at there in Anaheim. Starting off with the game tonight, Andrew Heaney against Lance McCullers. So look at that one, as that'll be a 7:07 Pacific time start. I know those games, I don't know if you guys watch out in the East Coast. For those who are East Coasters but are fans of West Coast teams, I mean, you got to figure out your schedule, whether you're recording it and watching it the next day, or, I mean, that's a 10:07 start if you're going to watch that game out west, if you're out east. Yeah, I mean, especially when there's like the Red Sox when they play in Oakland, or if the Yankees play in Oakland or in LA, it's gonna be a rough week for you guys if you want to watch those games. Out here in the West Coast, it's nice because we got the East Coast games start at 4 o'clock, the West Coast games start at 7, so we like it. All right. Well, wrap it up for the day today, as we've been going over a bunch of stuff. We talked about the Nationals, Angels a bunch, went over the games from the weekend, and then we highlighted I think went through all the games coming up on Monday and Tuesday. I highlighted some guys to watch also, as obviously we have some big series going on. We'll see what Mike Trout does against the Astros, if he can come to play well and maybe leapfrog his team into first place by the end of the series this week. So a bunch of good stuff going on, as we will come back on Wednesday with another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Until then, everybody go enjoy some baseball. Go watch these good series. We'll be recapping them on Wednesday, and then also talking about, obviously, the final games, or maybe some of these that'll be the middle game of the series. Obviously, some teams having a day off today on a Monday. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday. Everybody, enjoy. Until then, watch some baseball. See ya.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.